Right, so I'm going to carry on this week with the Night Scenes project, Nocturnes, that's how you say it. So do a quick recap. Last week I worked on this pastel demo. So if anybody wanted to have a go at pastels, I've got a set of pastels here, and I've got a fair few sheets of this blank paper that I've got given. So you're very welcome if you want to have a go at the pastels. To back on that. I thought this week I'd like to do some oil painting, so this will be this week and next week, so like 2 weeks. And I thought I'd just demonstrate how I build up paintings, quite often starting quite loosely, and then I'll tighten up and as I go along. So I'll do that in a minute. A couple of weeks, a week or two ago, I was asking all my classes what sort of themes you wanted for next year. So I've basically put down all the ideas that everybody came up with in all the classes onto one list. So that top bit is what you've come up, and then this bit at the bottom is other bits that I've added that I think might be quite good to cover. So just to get a bit of an idea if these sort of things appeal to you. So if I'm going to just send these two round, and if you could just tick any that appeal to you, and then I'll come up with some sort of program for next year based on that. Okay, so we'll do that in a minute. Right, okay, so this idea came about a couple of years ago. I went down the seafront to paint fireworks actually, but they hadn't started, and the fountains were going and all the kids were sort of running in and out. I just found that was a really nice subject. So I did this little painting there. It's a very, very quick painting. I might have shown you this last week. Painted on the spot. And I think I've probably in about an hour or something like that. I think I started probably with the fountains themselves, because I can see some little bits of grey board here and there popping through. So I think I just placed roughly where I wanted the fountains to be, and then worked the background in and around them. So that's not the conventional way to paint an oil painting. The way I was taught to paint oil paintings is really background to foreground. You do all your darks first in the background, then the lights in the background, then gradually move forward. But I found working on location, sometimes it doesn't work out that easy that way. And if I put all the darks in, it would have been hard to get lighter colours to go over dark, wet paint basically. So for that reason, sometimes when I'm working directly, I would just paint the light things in and at pretty much the same time as the darks. So it's not necessarily the same thing. But I thought I'd just show you that, and that's one approach. And then I'll show you this more traditional approach to building up a painting in a studio. Or if you're painting, sometimes I go back and paint, from the same spot a number of times. So I might start painting, then I'll go back another week and do a bit more to it. So basically, using the idea of this sketch and these photos here, so I started this morning just sketching this out, and I'm thinking now, so this is starting with, I'm using water mixable oils, and really just, the nice thing about that is, so that work was just popped in this morning. It's very easy to make alterations because they'll stay down for quite a while. Now probably if I left this till tomorrow, this would dry onto the board. But I've definitely got quite a few hours to make adjustments and to add bits. So I was just thinking, well, maybe bring this little girl here, perhaps even bring her down, certainly perhaps down a bit. So I'll put her head perhaps down there. And this approach to painting, starting quite loosely and gradually building up, it just allows me a lot of room to make adjustments, to make changes. I could make the drawing a bit better, but I'm not too worried at this point. I just want to just kind of basically get things sketched where they need to be. So she's not too dark, and then she's got reflections down there. Actually, she's got her hands in front of her, so I'll lose those bits. And then I was thinking this figure, this was actually a different occasion. There were these slightly older girls running through the fountains. I quite like the idea of having them in the scene. I'm just trying to relate it to, so I think the cursor is there, which I've put slightly to the right. And I'm thinking here, I think it's just tucked in behind there. So I think that will be about the right height for her head. And I think they're the two key figures I wanted to start with. This, as a theme, it appeals to me, and I like subjects with figures and also movement and liveliness. I'm not particularly a portrait painter, but I do like people, particularly people sort of who are active. So again, this photo was, I just took a small bit of video and then just froze it and got a screen print. So she could be there, and her arm will be sort of coming out here. And then this other, I think this other figure I would want in as well, perhaps running through. Maybe another figure, perhaps in the background running through, just kind of coming through the fountains. This sort of underpainting, I'm just using sort of blues and browns mostly because that will dry quite quickly. And it means that if I wanted to go over this tomorrow, I can paint on a dry surface. With oil paint, some of the colours take quite a long time to dry. So I'm just kind of making that up a little bit to kind of get a bit more movement. And then I'll put another figure here. So for that reason, I'll stick to I'll leave all the brighter colours for when I put the top layers on. So you can go in here. And then it's a matter of just perhaps darkening this area a little bit. So just go with a bigger brush. And keeping the paint quite thin. So water mixable oils and just diluting it with water. So I'm not using any medium at this stage because I just want it to dry quite quickly. So I can just cut in here to get some darks. Oops. Move that over. So that's where the cursor itself is going to be there. And then that's all quite dark there. And it'd be quite nice to just get a darker background that I can then pull some colour out on. So I'll make all that a little bit darker. I think it's important with big areas to use, a decent sized brush. Otherwise, it can look a little bit clunky. Really, you want to get nice fluid marks, sort of alternating the brush marks a little bit. And then if I wanted to just suggest where the fountains are going, I could probably just do that with a bit of tissue. Just kind of draw back in, lift some of the colours out to get a brush bit. Some lights in here. Might even be able to just wash a bit out with a brush. Just get a clean brush, small one. Yes, I can lift some of that out. Perhaps darken around here, but is that enough of a demonstration? So what I'll do is I'll keep this one going next week, and I'll probably do this in the Thursday classes as well, and just show you how that can develop. All good? No questions? Right, okay, good. Right, so I'll send these lists round to start with. So basically, if you could just have a look at one of these, check anything you like the look of, and then pass it on. So I've got one there.